and I just think this is a light, fun way to really talk about relationships, is that he's said to somebody else at our table, well, what if you said your relationship was sustainable? Versus, and you know, if every day we give more to each other and fall more in love in new ways, that would be more of the regenerative. And that kind of sticks in the brain sometimes a little better. So I wanted to share his good stuff.
Great, thank you. That's a good way of framing it. And then did you have something to add, Esther?
Basically, we had a lot of great conversation, but one thing that said that caught me by surprise, and I hadn't considered it this way, and that was John's comment about the idea that Adam Smith had been, you could see it as being misinterpreted, and that rather than considering it in economic terms, we can think of it as reaching out to achieve our full potential. And I thought that was really insightful, and I hadn't thought about that before. And seeing as how I teach a sustainability class, I think I'll take it there.
Before you leave tonight, let me get your address. I will send you a paper by a man named Mishko Hansen, who was taking his doctorate at Cambridge when I met him, on Adam Smith as the father of sustainability. Any of you know what chair Smith held at the University of Glasgow?
No.
Was he an economist?
He was an ethicist.
He was a moral philosopher. Yeah, he was an ethicist. The book he was writing when he died, which he had written the first version of years before, so this is after The Wealth of Nations, was a theory of moral sentiments, in which he said things like the highest purpose of a human being is to be beloved. And told the old story that is frequently attributed to MBAs, of an MBA who goes down to Belize and is out on a rental boat fishing and says to the captain of the boat, this is great, I'm having a wonderful experience. You should charge more. And the captain said, why? He said, well, because then you'd have more money. Captain said, what would I do with more money? Well, you could buy another boat. Captain said, what would I do with another boat? Well, you'd catch more fish. Captain said, what would I do with more fish? Well, you'd get rich. What would I do if I was rich? Well, you'd retire. What would I do then? I said, well, you'd go fishing. And so in this paper, Mishko walks through all of these statements by Adam Smith that quite different than what we are told is The Wealth of Nations. Smith chose that title very carefully. It was not the wealth of greedy, self-actualizing bastards on Wall Street. It was the wealth of nations, i.e. countries. And remember, in Smith's times, all economies were nationally bounded. Countries needed to have sufficient wealth that they could maintain a military to protect them from others who might come and take what they had. That was the purpose of wealth. One, economies are nationally bounded. Are economies nationally bounded now?
No.
Trillions speed around the planet at the speed of a keystroke. Ricardo, who followed Smith, was very clear. If you have mobile capital, you are no longer trading to comparative advantage, you're trading to absolute advantage, which means there will be very real winners and losers. We've rather forgotten the fathers of classical economics. So, yeah, very good.
So I will pick up on just a couple of things that you said and then turn it back over to Hunter. One is this notion of becoming beloved. How do we become beloved to each other? That means that I need you and you need me and we care for each other. And how do we realize our potential? How do we realize our potential to evolve into a contributive, positive force? And to me, that is at the heart of regenerative development, is reframing our relationships in such a way that we are realizing our potential. So potential is a huge part of regenerative development. And it is transformative, and it is ultimately something that we're shy to talk about sometimes, but I'm seeing it delightfully come in more and more, which is about love. It's about love for one another, love for life itself, and that this can be a powerful driver and force for creating businesses and economies that are in service of each other and in service of life. And that potential does exist. And so I'll bring it back in closing to that question of what is it that you can evolve within yourself? And you'll hear me do this again and again.